Hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are going to play with Heart of the Wildfire tonight. One of my favorite spirits in all of Spirit Islandum. Is that a Spirit Islandum? I don't know. We're making it a thing now. Heart of the Wildfire is very, very cool. One of the first spirits that I was like, wow, okay, well, blight, I guess, isn't always a bad thing. And Jagged Earth obviously took that to another level. So a lot going on in the spirit, lots of love. Just, man, putting down presence and, man, let's get that wildfire going. Let's do some damage and let's make some crazy things happen and get that brinksmanship aspect of him going. I like brinksmanship spirits that really kind of make you teeter the edge of victory and utter disaster. So I don't know what that says about me, but I'm sure it's not great, but we'll go with it. So yeah, we're going to put him to the side. We're going to get this set up. And tonight, not only are we playing with one of my favorite spirits, we are doing a very interesting challenge, and we are doing the no events. So I know events are super divisive, and Eric Royce also heard that feedback. So he's like, in Jagged Earth gave you all rules on how to play with no events. It's a different way to experience the game. I love the events. I love the events from the first time I played with them. I really just kind of infused this game with just some more uncertainty and randomness and narrative and intrigue and tension and all these things that I just was like, the base game was good and it just wasn't sucking me into the level that ultimately this game has. And a big part of that was the addition of the events. And the events got a lot better with Jagged Earth. Because I mean, I like the events in Branch and Claw. Obviously, I always love them. But the Jagged Earth events, I just feel like are just a little tamer. So even if you get a few of the Branch and Claw events in a game, you're going to have some events that are just, the effects are not as awful and kind of, they give you less of a punishing feeling, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I just think the events add so much to the game. But that said, I know that there are a fair number of players that really just don't like the events at all. They like the deterministic feeling of the base game. They like that puzzle. They like knowing they can solve that puzzle without some stupid card randomly telling them that they're screwed, right? And I get that too. I think, there's ways to mitigate that. There's ways to kind of set yourself up so the events aren't the make or break part of a game, but sometimes it happens that you have great plans and then all of a sudden, if you're playing a trickster and you get 3 events in a row that say, well, we're ignoring strife this turn, well, that's not really good. If you get the events that come out and they're, if you're playing as Fangs and you're just not I guess Fangs is another thing altogether, which I'll kind of get to with these cards here. But if you're playing as Fangs and the events aren't animating the beast tokens, then you got some problems and some things to work out there. But yeah, when you're not playing with the events, what are you playing with? Well, there's these 2 little cards that just go into the Invader deck, and they give you twice in a game. Once you unlock one in stage 2, one you unlock in stage 3. But they say the same thing, that during the fast phase, you can choose for each beast to do 1 damage, 1 fear if invaders are present, or push that beast. You're just choosing one. Once you've chosen that, then it's flipped over. Now in a true solo game, there's only 1 beast on the board. So what you're really looking to do with these things is you're most likely looking just to pick off an explorer who has gone too far into the wilderness or the desert or the wetlands and ran into a beast that ultimately led to the untimely end of said explorer. And that's a good thing. Now look, you can really, if you're playing with no events and you use these cards and you're playing with many minds, you're playing with Fangs, there's really ways that you can totally just destroy a board with this. And destroy might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but you can definitely cheese it in some ways, where if you're Fangs and you 5 turns in, you've already turned 5 presence into beast, well, ding, we can just kind of come out and just kill everything in multiple lands in a fast power, and that's great. That's one thing you could do. I wanted to play with a spirit that wasn't so beast heavy or beast reliant or beast first in a sense, to kind of see in the average game, what does this look like? And I think Wildfire will give me that chance to say, look, in an average game, these are very, very minor effects. but you are saving yourself from the uncertainty of the event deck, and the certainty of these cards can really play into a comprehensive strategy. So we're going to go with Wildfire, we're going with Prussia, and we're going to see what happens. Greg here. You know what time it is? It is time for a fancy dancy shout out in one of my videos to go to a patron who has been a patron long enough at a level high enough to get that fancy dancy shout out in one of my videos. Great. So I think that was redundant, but we're going to stick with it. Aaron Stevens, you are the man of the hour. I so appreciate your support. Aaron was a name that I saw on comments sections of my Spirit Island videos for a while. And then one day I get that magical email, you have a new patron, Aaron Stevens. I was like, I know that dude. And he sent me a message on Patreon. Hey, I've commented on your videos. I'm like, I know. Trust me, there's a growing number of people that comment on my videos, but I do recognize the repeat offenders, so to say, because I really do appreciate all the comments so much. And it's always touching for me and always nice for me when I see people who I've engaged with, who really like my content, able to take that next step in supporting this channel. Like, and I say able, not everyone can, I totally get that, but when it happens, it's really nice to me. So if you are able to take that next step and you're interested in becoming a supporter of this channel, you can go on the description, the link in the description of this video to see the link to my Patreon page. There are 3 levels of patronage that are offered to you, are available to you. See if one of those makes sense to you and see if that is a step that you would like to take as I continue to try to move solo playthroughs forward in making it bigger and better, featuring more games, getting this equipment incrementally better as I go and as I grow. Look, but for now, Aaron, happy to get the shout out on a Spirit Island video for a game that we both love so much. And speaking of that, let's get back to the action. Thanks again, Aaron. So let me get the rest of the setup done. I've already shuffled that. We need to shuffle the event deck or the fear deck. I don't need to shuffle the event deck. We're going to take this deck and we're going to leave it and put it over there. Bye-bye event deck. Oh, man, so I miss it already. All right, that's fine. So look, we're playing against level 5 Prussia, and level 5 Prussia, now when you're playing without the event deck, there's a few changes to setup that you make. And one of the changes to setup you make is because you're making some aspects of it easier. You are going to add an additional fear card for Terra level 2. So the fear deck says 4-4-5. Nope, doesn't say that. It says 4-4-3. We're going to make it 4-5-3. All right. So we will put 3 cards below Terra level 3, 5 cards between Terra level 2 and Terra level 3, and 4 cards on top of Terra level 2. Additionally, when we get to a Blighted Island card, which we're playing as Wildfire, that's going to happen. You ignore all cards that have an immediate instruction and nothing else, right? So unintended land crumbles would be fine because it's each invader phase, this thing happens. Erosion of will would not be fine because it says immediately 2 fear per player, then it goes away. And the reasoning is because these Blighted Island cards that have immediate effects also run the risk of further bad things happening from the event deck. Again, Blighted Island effects can be very bad. Well, since that's not happening, Eric Royce in the instructions for Jagged Earth is like, look, you only want to use the cards that have continuing effects. So that brings back into place, you know, the 2 cards from the base game where it's like, again, 5 lose a presence each round, or 4 lose a presence or forget a power each round. The still healthy island cards are still fine. They don't have as much of a dramatic of effect on the game as you might think. So they can stay. Additionally, the other thing you're not going to use is you're not going to use the 2 blight per player cards. All right, so if I pull one of those, we will not use that at all. Now, you could take all of those out before the game, or when I go Blighted Island, and again, I'm saying when because I'm playing with Wildfire here. When I go Blighted Island, we will just kind of cycle until we get to the appropriate type of card. So I'm going to roll my D20 to at least get it set. That is a 2. I'll take the second card. Here we go. That's going to start the game with 3 blight on it. Again, the 2 blight per player plus the 1. And then we're going to set the event deck. The event deck is going to be for level 5 Prussia is going to be a 1-3-2-2-3-3-3. 3 4 3s. I don't know. I think I said enough 3s there. I don't know. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But we're going to roll this. I'm going to take out one of the 3s. We're going to roll this again. I rolled a 2. This is going to be the one that goes in front of the stage 2 cards. Now it does count as a stage 2 card in some ways. So when we put these command cards in here, it's actually going to go on top. The one that's for stage 2 will actually go on top of that early Prussia card as opposed to going behind it, right? So that's going to go there. This will go on top of the other. That's the stage 3 command card. Again, command the beast token cards. That will go on top of the stage 3 cards there. I'm going to take out 2 stage 2 cards. So I took out a 3, and we're going to roll this again. I take out a 1, and then we're going to put these here. And then you're going to put the stage 1 cards. I only need 1 of them, so I'm only going to roll until I get 1. And what do we get? It is a 5. It is a 3. So that is going to be our card. Now, as soon as this Explorer card moves over to reveal this, you've earned it. So with Prussia, we're going to earn this card very, very, very early in the game. Like if you were playing a stage 6 Russia or level 6 Russia, Prussia, you would start the game with this card, right? It's pretty sick how that works out. So let me get the Jagged Earth rulebook just to make sure there's not anything I'm forgetting in setup, but I think that was everything. All right, so the rules for playing without events, for those who want to see it, it's on page 20 of the Jagged Earth rulebook. Again, leave the event deck is gone. Everything else is the same. There's an extra fear card, which we've done. The 2 command cards is done. And then we've already discussed the Blighted Island, and we already have the rules for, how to use those 2 cards, which are in the Invader deck. Now, note that if you save them up, you don't have to use them immediately. So if you save them up, you can use them both in the same fast power phase if you get to stage 3, and so that you could stack 1 beast and make it into enough to kill a town. We'll see if we get minor powers or anything that allow us to add more beasts to the board that could really animate those cards. So there's a lot of good things that can come together with those cards. And again, there's a certainty of it's just like the Slave Rebellion card, or the certainty of the way that the Invader deck is set when you're playing in Scotland. You want to use that information to your advantage when you know that card's coming up, right? And when you'll have access to it to use it as you want. So I'm going to roll this die. I rolled a 3, so we're going to play on board C. So board C is interesting at Prussia. If the initial explorer is mountains, it can be pretty bad because you'll have a situation where you're like, oh no, I have a town on, and the initial explorer is both goes to mountains, so which can be a problem. So we're going to have a beast. The beast is going to go into the lowest number of land without a pre-printed setup icon. That's going to be land 4. We're going to go to put the disease in land 2. We're going to have a blight in land 5, and we're going to have a city in land 2. Additionally, we need 6 Dahan on the board. We're going to have the jungle Dahan in board 1, the wetland Dahan in board 5. There's 2 of them. There's going to be 2 Dahan in the mountains in land 3, and then the sands Dahan is in land 6. That's that. Where do I start on the board? I'm going to start with 3 presents in land 6 with 2 blight, because I am a blight machine. And then we're going to have the rest of my presents going on my tracks here, seeing all the fires. So look, special rules for Heart of the Wildfire. After you add presents and land that goes to you, deal damage for each fire that's showing on your track. So the most you'll get is 4 damage from that. And then if 2 or more fires are showing, then you have to add a blight. Now that blight does not destroy your presence, but it would indeed cascade. You'll push all beast and any number of Dahan. So you have to push beast. You do not have to push the Dahan. And if you add multiple presence, you only do the above effects once. Now destructive nature, again, like I said, the blight would not destroy presence. It would cascade, but again, any blight added due to spirit effects, power, special rules, scenarios, including blight that could be cascades, does not destroy your presence. And that's important to remember. A distinction worth noting, people. All right, it looks all naked up here. There's nothing happening. All right, we'll put some beast tokens. I don't know why. We're like never getting to them. Put some wilds tokens. We're gonna make some tokens because it just looks like blank space and I want to fill it. Get some strife, some disease. All right, this is what we're talking about here. Great. So we are going to do the initial explorer, the final step of setup. We're exploring into sands. So we get 1 explorer into land 2 with the disease, and 1 lonely explorer who fell into the Badlands. I'll put him in land 6. Now, this is going to move to the build. Oh, look at that. We have earned our first command card. And again, we can use that as we want when we want to activate this beast. We can activate it. We have 3 options again. If there's an invader present, we can generate a fear. We can push the beast to an adjacent land, or we can do 1 damage in that land. So, and we can do it at any fast power phase that we want. Great. I will use this to indicate what growth option I pick, just to kind of help everyone keep track at home. And now we're going to do the first spirit phase. People, what shall I do? So I've started to approach Wildfire a little bit differently. You know, I did 1 practice game, and I kind of chose a strategy that's a little bit different from what I would used to be able to do, or used to choose to do with Wildfire, in that I'm less worried about going blighted. Especially, I don't have to worry about the immediate effects. Some of the blighted island cards I hate the most are those immediate effects. So it is what it is. So I actually think I am going to get to this point where I'm putting blight on the board from the second turn, just because of the growth option. And that's going to really help unlock some of what I'm doing here with Wildfire in a way that I think will work very well in a very fast game against a very fast adversary, right? So we'll see if this works out the way I'm hoping. But I am going to take the fire off of the bottom track. And where am I going to put it? Well, where do I want to put 1 damage? Well, I want to put 1 damage there, which is, I guess I could just do that. Well, as long as I get a plant, I can just do that. Anyway, so that's not going to be that big of a deal. Sure, I think it makes sense. I think this will work, right? So I'm going to put this not there, because that's not exactly what I want to do. I could put it there, but there's no blight. See, I wish I had blight there, because I could kill this town using Flame's Fury and my Firestorm innate power. So again, this is where opening this up and making sure I can do damage where I want to do it, and against Prussia is really important to me right now. So I'm going to put presence 1 away from where I have presence, and I could do 1 damage there. I could just knock out that. But it doesn't have the plant I'm going to need. Yeah, so I'm going to put 1 presence here. In land 5, let's get nice and central. And then what we're going to do is, that's going to do 1 damage there. Well, you know, don't worry about that. I can push any number of Dahan. I will push these. That's interesting. Where do I want to push these Dahan? Where do I want to push you, Dahan? I will push these Dahan. I'm not going to be defended here. I mean, that's just the one thing. So I'll push these Dahan here. I think there's power in numbers, so that will work. And then I'm using this, and then I'm going to get 2 energy plus 1 because I have 1 fire element showing on my track. I have 1 card play. So that card play I'm going to use for asphyxiating smoke. It is a 2 cost. It costs 2 energy. It is a slow power, and 2 away from where I have a sacred site, I can destroy a town. Now, what elements do I have? Let me give us element markers that are going to be really relevant for this game. Well, there's really only going to be 4 of them. So we're going to need fire, we need plant, we need mountains, we need air. And honestly, I don't really care about the rest of the elements. Not because, you know, they're not important. They're just not important to Wildfire. So I have 1 plant. That's all I really want to know about, other than how many fire do I have? Well, I have 2 fire. I have that 1 air. It doesn't do anything for me, so I won't even worry about putting a die here. Now, with this, range 0, so a place where I have presence, I could, the target land is a land with blight. I have 1 plant. I can do 1 damage per 2 fires I have. I have 1 on my card, and I have 1 here. So that's the 2. That's where that comes from. So I'm going to do 1 damage, and I'm going to knock off that Explorer. We're going to now go to the Blighted Island effect. There is none. We're still healthy. Event card. Nope. No event card. No earned fear cards yet, so we don't do that. So now we go to the build. Where are we building? We're going to build a town in land 2. No, we won't. This disease is going to come off. So nothing builds. And now we're going to explore. It's a stage 3 card. Well, where is this explore happening? So we're going to get a explore in land 8, an explore in land 5, an explore in land 4, and explore in land 1. Invader cards are going to advance, and then I'm going to do asphyxiating smoke. I'm going to generate a fear off the top. I'm going to destroy a town within 2 of where I have a sacred site. I'm going to kill that. It gets another fear, and then I push 1 Dahan. That would be mandatory if a Dahan were there. There is no Dahan there, so I do not need to worry about that. So that's done. I'll put this here. Now, we go to the next spirit phase. So the unfortunate thing about using asphyxiating smoke is now I do not have the ability to play fast fires fast, which I would really like to, because I would like to pick that dude off. But again, I could do this. I put out a presence, I do 1 damage, and then we can kind of make him go away. So I think I will go against what I said initially, because there's no need to put a blight out there, right? I want to try to clear off that side of the board. Again, with Prussia, the more you can kind of minimize what you're looking at, the better. So I'm also, again, this is a good time to use that and knock that dude away, right? So, we'll see how that works. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same growth option. Let me get some energy here. I'm going to put this. Do I really want a 2-card plays? Do I want 2-card plays? Oh, that could actually work really well. That could work really well. Sure, then I'll just reclaim cards and do that next turn. I like it. Why not? So we're going to do I could put a presence and gain a power card next turn. I probably will do that. Instead of reclaiming cards, I'm going to want to put another presence on the board. I am. So I'm going to put this presence here. I'm going to do 1 damage, and I'm going to wipe that guy out, right? Because I still only have that 1 fire showing. I'm going to get 2 energy plus 1, so I get 3 energy. I'm going to spend 2 for flash fires. Now, I have 2, 1, and 1 for the air. Oh, this is really nuts. Yeah, this is really nuts. So I'm going to do this fast action now. I'm going to wipe off that explorer. And then I'm going to do Flame's Fury. Target spirit gains 1 energy. That target spirit is me. Now it says any spirit, so I can always target myself. If it said another spirit, obviously in a true solo game, I can still target myself. And then basically this target spirit will get +1 damage with each damage dealing power they use this entire turn. So that's slow power, that's fast power. That's going to be really, really nice. So I'm going to put a reminder token on that, and then a reminder token on that the damage potential is increased. And I also, because I have that 1 plant, I can do 1 damage per 2 fire I have. I have 3, so I'm going to kill that. It has target land has to have blight, so that's taken care of. So we're good there. Everything else I have is a slow power. We're going to go to the Blood Land effect. There is none. Again, we're skipping the event card. I don't have a power card yet, or a fear card yet, so we're good there. So now we go to the Invader steps. Well, Ravage. We're ravaging in land 2. We're building. Well, nothing to build here, nothing to build here, nothing to build here. So between this command card, which is super strong. Now again, once you use it, you just flip it to the use side, and it just says use, and then you just know that you don't have that available. We will not get another one of these until when we get to stage 3. Again, this was a stage 3 card, but we still technically were in stage 2 when that was revealed. So between this innate, between my placing of presence, and between that thing, we were able to knock out 3 of the 4 land types, lands that we're going to build with Prussia, which is a really, really strong start for us. So now there's like no source other than the coast, and it's really, really nice. 4 obviously a source 4 and 5, but there's no source in a non-coastal land, which is, or at least from a non-coastal land, which is really, really good. So we are going to do a build. We're doing a town here, and then we're going to do the explore step. Well, we have to immediately add a town to a land that does not have a town, and it's sands. I will add this town. I mean, it's something I'm going to want to wipe out early next round. This isn't great. That's probably going to blight Cascade, if we're being honest. I don't want to put it inland just in case. So I will put it here. Or, you know what I could do? I could put it anywhere, wipe it out with flash fires. This is going to ravage. It's going to ravage 3. The Dahan are going to, I could just let that blight, the Dahan retaliate, take care of that. And then I just don't need to really worry about that land anyway. So that's one of the benefits of kind of pushing the Dahan the way I did when I put the presence, where did I put the presence? I put the presence here, and that pushed to Dahan. Yeah, let me do that. I think that makes a little bit more sense. I can revisit that in the growth phase. So I'll put this here, and then we're going to explore. Where we're exploring into there, and we're exploring into there. I am going to do 1 fear off the top with flash fires, and then I'm going to do 1 damage. Well, because of Flame's Fury, I do a 2nd damage, and it's 1 away from where I have presence. I'm going to kill that town, destroy that town, and that generates our first fear card. Invader cards are going to, we already advanced, I'm sorry, we're going to go to time passes. These cards are going to come over here. And now we go to growth. Interesting. Oh, these, yeah, Invader cards advance. I did forget to do that. All right, so I think if I'm focusing on land 1, I can generate a bunch of fear. We'll see how this goes. So I am going to gain a power card because I don't want to reclaim yet. I'm really trying to delay that. It still is going to let me put a presence on the board, which is exactly what I want to do, right? I have 3 energy, so I'm good with energy. And I can play this card. It's going to be able to get me a lot of fear. So we are going to gain a minor. I'm looking for something with a fire, obviously. So thriving choke fungus, teeming rivers, trap the forces of corruption. Nope, no fire. Ugh, here there be monsters. So here there be monsters is the only one that cares about beasts at all, but it's really not that useful. Something with a plant, gather up to 1 blight, isolate target land. When blight is added to target land, it doesn't cascade. That I don't hate. I'm assuming that's going to blight again on me next turn. The fact that I have to gather blight, I can use that isolation really well, I think. I can use that isolation well. Target land has no blight, add a beast. Ooh. The meh. But it's only in mountains and wetlands. So I'd have to add a beast, and I would add a beast there, I guess. Or I have a thriving choke fungus, added a disease and a badlands, and that would either be in wetlands or jungles. So I want to try to get more beast. That's interesting. I'm not sure gathering, isolating makes all that much more sense for me. But if exactly 1 blight, I can remove it. I'll take, oh man, I really wish I had a fire. Really wish I had a fire, because then I could actually remove a blight from the board. But this will work. I'll take teeming rivers, and let's maybe get another beast on the board. I think that for this playthrough, I think will be some, maybe we can have some fun with that second command card here. So we have 2 earth, we have 1, 2 fire, and we have nothing else that's really relevant. We also forgot to add the presence. I'm going to add this presence 3 away from where I have presence. Could wipe these guys out. Oh, I can move these guys there. None of these were a defend, right? Yeah, really strong defend would be nice. Yeah, I'm going to put this here. That's going to add a blight. Oh, but I don't want to. I definitely don't. I'm trying to avoid. Well, if it just goes blighted, I don't think it goes blighted, but I'm going to be able to remove a blight at the end of this turn. So the other option is I do this. I'm going to do 1 damage. No, that's silly. Fine. I'll put this here. I'm going to add a blight. That's going to generate a fear because I'm destroying that. And that's growth. So, and by the way, so when I reveal that gives me 3. Now I can move any number of Dahan. I will move these 3 Dahan. No, I'll remove 3 Dahans. That's ravaging. It's going to be building again. I'll just wipe them all out. So it's any number of Dahan. I'll move. No, let's leave all 3 of them there. I think that makes the most sense. Well, if it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I had 10 Dahan in there, though, they could retaliate. So if 5 Dahan in there, 7 damage. Kill 3. Oh, but I'm not going to be adding a presence there next turn when that's going to be ravaging. I was thinking if I could if I move them here, add a presence here next turn. But the reality is I'm going to be reclaiming cards, so I'm not going to be adding a presence next turn. So I think it makes sense. I'll leave these 3 here because I just don't want to mess with that too much. And then we are going to do, oh man, we're going to have to move this guy here, which will still work. So this land's going to get fairly ugly on us. So I have Firestorm, so I can do 1 damage per 2 fire I have. And I have Threatening Flame still, so I'm going to generate 2 fear off the top. I have to target a land where I have presence, there are invaders, and there's blight. And I have to push an explorer or a town per tower level. Tower level is 1, and it has to go to an adjacent land without my presence. Now, if I had presence here as well, I would just generate 2 more fear instead. But since I have it, I don't want to push this guy here, right? I'm trying to get everything to the left side of the board. So I'll push this dude here. Land 2 is going to crap. It is what it is. Right, now I also have Firestorm. Innate powers. I can do 1 damage per 2 blight I have. I'm just going to destroy this guy here. It's just targeting a land where I have blight. So again, we're condensed now just to 2 lands fairly quickly, which is super good. We're going to go to the invader phase. We do nothing with, we're still healthy island right now, which is good. There is no event card. We get our first fear card. What does it say? Each player chooses a land to isolate. Interesting. I will isolate. So it's a stage 2 card. The sands already came off. Don't think I'm that upset if it's anything else. If I isolate 5, I prevent any explorer into, I'm sorry, isolate land 2, I prevent any explorer into 5. A turn I could also just isolate land 1, which could certainly work to my advantage here. Don't mind if anything. I mean, I have range and things I can do, so I'm not really worried about anything else. I'll isolate land 1, I think makes sense. And again, we're just trying to maximize the chances that we're going to just have 1 less explorer hit the board, right? And if it's, there's 2 ways that land 1 could come up. It's going to be coastal lands or jungles, right? So there's 2 ways that can come up. There's 2 ways mountains can come up. I really don't care if it's in land 3. I already have a town there. So, and there's 1 way this can come up with coastal lands, but obviously this is already going to crap. Wetlands, you know, what I could do is say, well, I don't want wetlands to be an issue at all, right? But that's, you know, I'm gambling 1/4 of the time that's going to be a thing. I'm more likely to have some success preventing an explorer by doing that. We're going to, we chose spreading timidity. We chose a land to isolate. We now go to the invader steps. We're going to do jungles. Ravage, nothing to ravage in either place, nothing to ravage there or there. And now we do the build step. Build, nothing to build there. We're building a town in land 2. And now we go to explore. Of course, it's wetlands. So, it's like clockwork, kids. We are going to do a couple things. So we're going to add a town to a land that doesn't have a town. I'm going to add this to land number, 1, and we get an explorer into land 5 because of land 2. So as I said, I'm more likely to prevent an explorer in land 1, so of course land 5 comes off as my other option. So I am going to target either a mountain or a wetland, and I can either add a beast, and again, we're not going to have access to the command token until 2 fast powers from now. So that the next, again, there's 3 level 2 cards, and then there's another level 3 card. So do we want to put out a beast now if there's no blight, but it would have to be in land 3? It's probably not that helpful. We're probably better off removing a blight, and we can remove this blight from here. That would give me some options if I place another presence there and it will burn and whatever. Probably will want to take care of that in the fast power phase. So maybe I don't want to remove that blight, to be quite honest. Yeah, well, that's, if that Ravage cascades, I'm going blighted on it anyway, right? So that is one problem. But if I remove that blight, how am I gonna get rid of that? I'm not gonna have the energy for both of those. Not gonna have the energy for both of those. All right, I'll remove. That seems like a bad idea. So again, I can't target. If I remove that blight, I'm not gonna be able to target that land with Firestorm, and I think that's gonna make the most sense right here. So I will add a beast. Let's add some beasts, kids. I'm gonna add a beast to 3, and if I add another beast again, and then I could, when I do the command token, I could just, in a fast power phase, like each beast there will do 1 damage, which could be really, really strong. So that is done. I'm going to gain my, reclaim my cards. So growth option 1, I'm going to gain an energy for that. So I have 3 energy, and now I'm going to gain another minor power, still hoping for something with a fire. So naturally I'm getting nothing. Hey, 1 damage per Dahan sounds fairly good. That is a slow power, but it has the fire. The other one is Enticing Splendor. I can gather 1 explorer or town into a land where I have presence that doesn't have blight. That's not a thing. Call to trade, nah, not a big fan. And I mean, I can make this Ravage a build. I mean, I'm already, you know, resigned to the fact that I'm going blighted island. So let me get that fire while I have a chance, right? And I have 2 card plays, and I have 3 energy to do it. So I think that, assuming, again, there's still 2/3 of the chance that this is going to get an explorer. I mean, having the ability to do 3 damage there with Call to Bloodshed is super nice. And then if I just get something, I know this is going to blight cascade. It is what it is. And if I have something that can allow me to use, you know, the 1 damage there just to wipe out that explorer so it doesn't build, so I still don't have any sources going further south, that would be really, really nice. So what's going to give me, well, I could do that, and that will help. Well, probably makes more sense to get, that's not going to help. That's not going to do anything. This will let me destroy a town, which will be, let me take care of the escalator one more time. So I think that's the best move going for me right now. So I'm going to play Asphyxiating Smoke. I'm going to play Call to Bloodshed. That's going to give me the first level of the burned land regrows. It also gives me the first level of Firestorm. I am going to do 1 damage with Firestorm to wipe out that Explorer. And now we're just going to go ahead and do the rest of the actions. Now, again, I know I'm on Blighting Island. We're ignoring all Blighted Island cards that have immediate effects, and we're doing the more long-term effects anyway, which are, I think, going to be better for where I'm at with Wildfire in this game. We're going to go to the Blighted Island effect. There is none. There's no event card. I do not have another fear card. So what are we doing? We're going to Ravage in land 2. So Blight comes off. Blighted Island card. All right, each invader phase. Great. So we get right off the bat, it's going to be Power Corrodes a Spirit. Each spirit destroys one of their presence if they have 3 or more power cards in play or have a power card in play costing 4 or more printed cost. 4 blight on the card, which is nice. Now, obviously, one of these blight is immediately coming over and is going to enter the fray, and I'll just have that cascade into land 4. All right, which is fine. I'm going to be able to clean up, take a blight, put blight back in the card, and then I had this other card, so we'll be pretty good there. We are now going to do the build steps. Nothing building. We're going to do the final step. It is mountains. So first we have to do the stage 2 escalation. We're going to put a town in a land that doesn't have a town, and then I'm just going to kill it with Asphyxiating Smoke, and then we get 1 explorer in land 3. Invader cards advance. And lo and behold, we get a command card, kids. It's so nice. Great. The burn land regrows. I'm going to be able to take a blight away from a land that has my presence, that has 2 or more blights. So I'm going to remove this blight. Where does remove blight goes? It goes back on the card. Call to Bloodshed. I'm going to do 1 damage per Dahan. And that's going to allow me to kill. I'll do it up here. I'm going to wipe out that town. That generates a fear. I'm going to play Asphyxiating Smoke. I'm going to generate a fear. I'm going to destroy a town. 2 away from where I have a Sacred State. That gets another fear. And I get to push a Dahan. There's no Dahan there to push. And that is all of my slow powers. Those are all my slow powers. We now go back to growth. So what am I trying to do now? So as long as I don't play anything that costs 4 or more, or play 3 power cards, I really just don't need to worry about that at all. But honestly, I'm also not that worried about losing presence. Reality is right now, I can pretty much take care of everything except for land 2. Land 2 is a problem for sure. For sure. So I have that. I don't want that to build a city. So bonus of getting the 3 card plays is I can get 1 damage per fire I have. The problem, it has to be in a land where I have presence, and I'm not seeing how that's gonna work for me. If I put a blight there, it'd be Blight Cascade, and I think that's probably a little premature. I don't mind. I'll have the blight to play with, but I think I'm gonna play a little bit safe here. We're gonna worry about that more for maybe like, if I knew I could win on this turn, then I would do that, but I just don't. It's not totally there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a presence. Do I want to place a presence? I'll play 2 cards this turn, and I'll plan on gaining a power card next turn, as I think the right way to play this. I'll place a presence and 3 damage. I'm going to open up this solely for the reason that I'm not that worried about the energy, because I'm going to have 4 energy this turn, and then I could do that next turn. And it's going to allow me to do 3 damage just by placing my presence, right? And that's, if I Blight Cascade, then, where am I going to remove this Blight Cascade from? So I'm going to need to find a place that I can remove Blight from. So I'm going to want to play these 2 cards, because then I can remove a Blight. Because if I Blight Cascade, if I put presence there now, I'm going to basically have a Blight there. And then if I have the Blight Cascade, I'm going to have the Blight Cascade, which is a problem. So I'm going to want to give myself an out. Or I could just play Teeming Rivers, remove that blight this time. That's probably smarter. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And then I can get the 2 fear, push that. I'll still have this. I might not be using that, but that's fine. If I do these two, this will give me more damage next turn, and that should be good. All right, I'm going to play Teeming Rivers and Flash Fires, and I'll try to use all of this next turn. I think that will work fairly well. So I'm going to add a presence. Doing this one, so I'm going to get 4 energy. So these shouldn't actually be out yet. So we get these 4 energy here. If I get something with a earth, or I'm sorry, a plant next turn, that'd be really big. So then, yeah, I'm going to want to maximize the amount of damage I can do next turn. I'm only playing 2 cards this turn, but I'm going to lock the 3 card plays. I'm putting this here. I immediately add a blight. I do 2 damage. That wipes that out. That generates a fear. I'm going to use this command card. And we're going to wipe this guy out. And now, again, I need to make sure I pay for these guys. These are both slow powers, but what else do I have? I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't even need to use that, because I could have just done Firestorm there. Yeah, I didn't need to use that. I could have just used Firestorm there. So that honestly just made no sense. So I'll just undo. I have this command token now available to me, which is nice. So in case, this Explorer card does go to mountains, I'll still have that available to me next turn, or even jungles. Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense with a stage 3 card to hold on to that when I can. So I use Firestorm. I have 1, 2, 3 fire. So I do not have the Burn Land Regrows, but I will be able to remove a blight from here, which will allow me to do Blight Cascade in the growth option, the growth phase next turn, which is exactly what I'm looking for here. Because I don't want to Blight Cascade, obviously, because then, I would not win. So we go to Blighted Island effect. Well, look, I only have 2 card plays, and I don't have any card in play that costs 4 or more, so I don't have to worry about losing a presence. And then we're going to have the fear card. So immigration slows. We're still at terror level 1. During the next normal build, skip the lowest numbered land matching the invader card on each board, and then it just doesn't matter because there's nothing to build in either mountain. We're ravaging in wetlands. We are building in mountains, and now we are exploring in mountains and jungles. Oh, that's like, I could not have scripted this better. That's really nice. So explore, explore, explore. Nothing in land 7. Invader cards are going to advance. This goes here. This goes here. And now slow powers. I'm going to generate a fear. That gives me a fear card. I'm going to do 1 damage in land number 1. And then I'm going to target 2 away from I have a sacred site. I have a sacred site in 6 still. I'm going to target land 5 if it has exactly 1 blight. And it's a wetland. We're good. I'm going to remove that blight. Beautiful. This goes here. Now we go to growth. What's going to happen, kids? So I have, this should work. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to gain a power card, looking for something with a plant. That will do. That will do. So we're just going to do Shadows of the Burning Forests. It's going to be close, but I think we'll be okay. So I get no energy from that. I'm going to add a blight. I'm going to add a presence. Well, and a blight. I'm adding a presence here. Now that's going to blight, and it's going to cascade. I remember special rule, destructive nature. Blight that's added because of my spirit rules, including cascades, does not destroy my presence. And my presence is going to stay there. I have 3 fire showing, so I do 3 damage. That generates 2 fear. And now we're going to go to my card plays. So I get no energy. These are 3 cards. They cost 0 each. So a combined total of 0. I have 3, what's that? Plant. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fire, and I have, what is this? That's all I really care about right now. And then we're going to do a couple of different things. So we're going to actually use this command card now. Great. This beast does 1 damage. This beast does 1 damage. That worked out well. I'm going to do Flame Fury. I'm going to gain 1 energy. My damage dealing powers get +1 damage. And now what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to use Firestorm. Well, I have 3 plants here. 1 damage per plant per fire I have, +1. So I'm doing 7 damage. Where am I going to do it? I'm going to do it in land 2. And that's 1 fear. And that is, my friends, a Terror level 1 victory without the event cards, because, sometimes you just don't want the event card. Like, look, Wildfire is pretty nuts, and a lot of things worked out very well for us in this playthrough. I don't know. Like, it's a different game. It's just predictable, and you can math it, and you can kind of see what's happening, and you can make it work pretty well. And you know, when these cards came out really nice for us, you know, if I was one fear away from Terra level 2, so if I wasn't going to wipe out every explorer, I could have done this first, you know, pushed something, gotten that fear. It is what it is. But this is a wildfire game, man. Look at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blight on the board. Remember that we started with 2, so you know we started with 3, so really only 4 were added, which is, again, we have 2 left on the card. So we had, you know, the 3 from Terra level, you know, from the first blighted card, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we started with 3. So 3, this is from, you know, the healthy on the card, and then 2, we added half the blight from the power corrosive spirit. Now, if we got to the spirit phase, obviously I would have to lose a presence because of the continuing effect there. But that is all academic, as they say, because we just kind of coasted through this one. Was able to get control of the board early. Was able to, again, use that first command card, and you're using, you know, Wildfire's placement, and you're using everything else to just, we wiped out 3 of the 4 right off the bat. With Prussia, it's just a race to get ahead. And the fast damage of capabilities of Wildfire, or even Fangs, you know, the ability to do fast damage like Volcano, it really just makes that game, that matchup, a little bit easier. The Kindred Spirit podcast, they did that whole they got really excited about their matchup against level 6 Prussia with, what was it, a spread of rampant green and Wildfire. That, my friend and I actually just did that a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. Like, so yeah, if you listen to those guys, they're hilarious, and they will tell you the story about their game with Wildfire and spread of rampant green in ways that I cannot do justice. But it is a cool matchup, and I do recommend it. But you see Wildfire come to life, and you think about with green, where you're like, bam, like every time, like green's like, put another presence on the board. Sure, it's like, well, put a presence on the board and do a bunch of damage, right? And you just start kind of clearing this thing out. That's that quick one today. It's not always as easy. We definitely know that. I'll be back. I have a couple of things planned in the upcoming weeks. We got a Russia level 5 against Ocean that I'm really excited about. Kind of see some of those mechanics play out. And we're still kind of looming, or we're drawing ever closer to me beginning my Strength versus Strength series. We're going to take my top 7 true solo spirits, and I'm going to match them up in favorable matchups, or the most favorable matchups I can with those 7 spirits and the 7 adversaries, and see what's going to happen as we put those games on the channel. But any questions, comments, epiphanies, things that you would like to see, things that you're always wondering about with this game, please put it all in the comment section below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you're curious about what's coming up in solo playthroughs land, as I always say, I do put a public post on my Patreon page at the end of every month, so you can see what's going on in the next month and make sure that there is nothing coming up that you missed that you would otherwise want to see, and you can mark your calendars accordingly. This was super fun. Thanks for joining me as always, and until next time, happy gaming.